The original purpose of Farm Aid was to bring some awareness to the fact that the farmer was in trouble.
If the three of y'all hadn't started it, I don't see how the awareness would have come to the congested cities, how people would have started to understand what's happening to our farmers.
20 years ago, three guys saw what was happening in rural America and decided to do something about it.
We had a deepening farm crisis. We had an increase in farmer suicides, families being torn apart, foreclosures.
Willie and John and Neil did what I think a cultural leader should do in this country, and they stepped forward offering their best.
Willie heard from farmers. He saw the pain and he felt the pain. So he called farmers together and said, I have this idea to have this Farm Aid concert. What do you think?
21 days later, we all got together and did a Farm Aid, and it sold out in a matter of hours.
It's about the movement, that the grassroots movement of Farm Aid. It's something bigger than all of us, and it's never going to stop.
I really want you all to open up your imagination here. Imagine things that are possible.
It's all about keeping family farmers on the land because they are our only guarantee that we're going to have a food production system that produces this incredibly good quality food.
These artists are just like farmers. They never give up. They're stubborn, they're clever, they're strategic, and it's because of them that this organization has been effective.
We started off with trying to save family farmers one at a time, and then we started seeing ways to turn it around and ways to identify and educate so people could realize what they could do by buying the right food to turn this around and stop it.
Over the last few years, we've seen tremendous growth and interest from consumers. They want to know where their food is grown, who's had their hands in it, and what goes back to the farmer. It's really a new trend in agriculture.
I've become a much healthy eater over the years. With all these Farm Aid people I'm around, they sort of educate me. It's really probably helped keep me healthy.
The good foods movement, the organic food movement, is a wonderful opportunity for farmers to diversify. When they can diversify and get other crops going, and we can in fact produce healthier food, and more profits can go into the hands of the family farmers as opposed to the big food processors and mega businesses, then I think we're doing well for everybody.
Whether it's called sustainable, organic, locally grown, pure food, or just common sense, people everywhere are voting for this good food approach.
If the consumer is pulling for quality, for good food, for organic food, a quality of food that we want to look at, feed our children with, if that's a pull, then it is supply and demand. It's very simple. As part of a movement, Farm Aid is great support for the evolution of an idea, which is quality. And I think that's what Farm Aid is standing for now, which in turn helps the farmers.
It amazes me that people don't understand where milk really comes from. I just got done with a 20-minute conversation with a gentleman that didn't realize how fast the milk got processed, from the cow to the bulk tank to the processor to the store. And it was really, it's good for us farmers to be out here and keep the public informed, and they enjoy talking to the person that does the hands-on work.
One of the most important things Farm Aid does is to build the capacity of organizations to really help family farmers gain a greater share of the food dollar.
We've been here, it'll be 7 years this fall. Dad always had about 30, 35 cows milking. First thing we came back, we got a loan for 30 more cows, so we're milking 60, 65, and we've been kind of gradually building. We're milking 105 right now, and should be up to close to 120 next year. Getting a little more profitable, and cows are healthier, and it seems to be working out pretty good.
If you don't know, that's a very unusual thing to do, is to do dairy on grass, and it was completely different from the way Ryan's dad did things.
It took a little while for me to get into my head that it was the right thing to do. The animal is so much healthier. His vet bill is very small. He doesn't have the investment in machinery. It's just more profitable. It's the bottom line, you know.
First few years, I'm sure everyone thought we were just going to fail pretty much because it's so much different than anything else. But I think now that we've been doing it for 7 years, and they can see we, put in a new milking parlor and making some improvements around it. We're obviously making a little money.
Here you go. A little bit of hand. smoked it myself. Roasted and smoked it myself.
We put a lot of love into the food we do, and we like to help the farmers out who put just as much love in growing that food, and so we can carry that love all the way through to our dinner served onto the table to our customers. That's why we like to support the local farmers, and plus it cuts out the middle guy, and you know, it's a good thing to do.
And I think we'll just season this a little bit over here then. Big grocery stores buy in big quantities. So consequently, a farmer's market allows for much more of variety. It actually comes straight generally from a field or from someone's greenhouse and comes directly here. It doesn't sit around in a warehouse somewhere to be picked up. And it's often sold by the people who grow it, so they know what they've been doing. They know how hard that work has been.
I think when you look at being sustainable and staying in business over time, you've got to adapt, you've got to change, you've got to find your markets, and you've got to talk to your customers and find out what they want.
This is Joanne Dickman. This is her husband, Dennis. They've proved themselves as very aggressive, innovative, and savvy marketers. And they've done very well with a small family farm, selling some new and different products and really attracting a lot of customers to this niche and bringing a lot of customers out to their farm.
25 to 55 is very food conscious. The older ones aren't that food conscious, but more and more of them are becoming so after what they find out, what they do to their food.
The farmers markets and Farm Aid have just been such an important part of creating that difference in consumer attitude and perception.
I was at a Farm Aid in '99. I can't believe the camaraderie and the people that get together for such a great cause. I have a sister that lives down in Farmer City, and those people down there, they're just dying. They're losing their farms right and left all the time. It's just not fair. This is their livelihood. So if we're not here to help and the government doesn't help, who helps?
The storm took place on a Monday. On a Wednesday, we were contacted. By Thursday, we had direct support to help us recover. As a farmer myself, losing almost all of my property, my house, equipment, and everything, the support we have received from Farm Aid has been terrific. Thank you.
You know, the family farm, I think, represents a mythic part of American life because it represents hard work, it represents decency, it represents a sense that people are coming together and pitching in. And the fact is that we haven't always looked after our family farms. We haven't nurtured and cultivated a way of life that's been so important to all of us. And Farm Aid is a concrete, specific way that we're able to provide help to people who need it and to make sure that we're supporting the entire agricultural economy, not just for big agribusiness folks, but also for small farmers.
I've been producing the Farm Aid show since they started in Champaign, Illinois in 1985, and we've been able to keep the thing going for 20 years. Farm Aid has changed a lot over the years. The issues were different back then. It was more about farmers going belly up. A lot of people were going bankrupt.
20 years ago, I went to Farm Aid in Champaign, Illinois, and actually met a farmer who I've been married to for the past 18 years. Being more involved with Farm Aid lately has made me think a lot more about food. We're fourth generation farmers, and the fifth generation is probably going to farm very differently than we do.
When I grow up, I want to be a farmer, and I want to grow corn, vegetables.
Trying to get people back to the dinner table with really healthy, wholesome food would not be that difficult if we would all band together and kind of demand that this is what we want. Really, it's doing a tremendous service to us.
And there's a future for American farmers that is part of the future of America. And it's a different thing than we envisioned. We never even thought of this when we started.
Farm Aid is always in motion. I don't know about these guys, but I was naive enough to think that, well, we're going to do this one, and that'll be it, man. We're going to have it solved because the government will listen. We're doing what's right.
But this thing is such an evolving thing, and we keep discovering new ways, and we are tenacious.
It's a great coming together and a celebration of the fact that we're so lucky to do what we do. The fact that we can give back a little bit. because of someone like Willie who goes to the trouble of putting this event together. All we have to do is show up, and it's the easiest way in the world to give back, so I'm very grateful